Hello. So I'm assuming that maybe not a crazy amount of people are going to click on this, but more than the average new video I've done. Um, yeah, this is what I'm calling the final Sonic.exe bullshit. Um, and it's not even me playing a game because I can't play it. Um, this is Sonic.exe Scratch Edition, and you can see it was canceled. I don't know if this person is still doing stuff. No, they haven't uploaded since 2021. Um, but this was a Scratch remake of Sonic.exe. And we fuck around with Scratch around here. We have a little bit of fun. That was the bulk of what I did with the original run of Sonic.exe bullshit, is that I would play through, like, weird, funny Sonic.exe games that I found on Scratch. And honestly, in terms of humor, this one's not that funny, but it's like, dude, look at this shit. This was made in Scratch. If you go back and watch any of the old Sonic.exe bullshit videos, you would be like, how the fuck are they even able to do this with this engine? This engine is complete and utter dog. But, like, it looks cool as fuck. As cool as a Sonic.exe game can look, I guess. The beef has been squashed. I stayed away from Sonic.exe, and I don't really feel like playing another Sonic.exe game. I considered it for the 10-year anniversary, but I wanted to do a Scratch game, and this looked cool, but here's the problem. Scratch doesn't really like the fact that Sonic.exe games were popular. Now, I discovered Scratch the website because in high school we had a class that was called software engineering. It was very baseline in terms of that. We didn't really learn much raw code outside of, like, basic HTML. And of course we used Scratch for some of our lessons. So that's how I discovered the website, and I found it as just like a haven of silly shit that kids made. And a lot of that silly shit was Sonic.exe, but, Scratch is a website for kids, so I think they didn't really like the fact that kids like this bloody horror game. And, like, say what you want about Sonic.exe, I wouldn't call it a particularly profound creepypasta. I wouldn't call it profound anything. I think this is gonna break the illusion for some longtime viewers. I have never liked Sonic.exe. I made videos on it because I figured I could get a lot of views off of it. And I'll probably, like, I don't know if the appetite is still there for Sonic.exe on Super Cool Gaming. I'm sure some of you are going to get to this part in the video and you're going to immediately click the unsubscribe button. And I'm learning to be okay with that. But if there's one thing I am passionate about, it's leaving as much of a trail as I can with my stuff online. I don't want any of my shit to become quote-unquote lost media. I do a really, really good job of trying to make sure, like, my YouTube stream archive is always up to date. As up to date as I can be. Twitch has some restrictions on that, but, that's neither here nor there. But all those Scratch games that I played in Sonic.exe bullshit, I don't know if they exist anymore. Maybe I could... Maybe I could look it up and see, like, this is one I remember. See, you can even see my playthrough of it, but I don't think it exists anymore. A lot of this stuff that was uploaded to Scratch, The depressing reality is that it doesn't exist anymore. And my videos might be some of the only archives of these games. And man, if I knew that would be the case, I wish maybe I would have been a bit more positive back then. You know, I kind of pivoted when I realized a lot of kids were watching those videos and they really liked them, and I tried to be like a lot nicer to like these weird Sonic.exe games. And like in general, it's like it was harmless fun. It was kids being kids. They were making silly, goofy horror games starring Sonic the Hedgehog. But that just like doesn't exist anymore. You know, a lot of the fancier ones that weren't made in Scratch still exist, but who knows how long those will exist? You know? Stuff like the original Sonic.exe, the original Sally.exe, those will probably continue to exist forever. They, you know, circulate the tapes. Those games have been downloaded millions of times. You're probably going to be able to play them forever. Unless there's some compatibility problem with like newer versions of Windows. Otherwise, you'll be able to play those basically forever. Worst comes to worst, you could play it in a virtual machine. But stuff like this, not a chance. So, you know, this is kind of a depressing way to go out on, you know, especially for 10 years since the first Sonic.exe bullshit upload. But I guess this is my little call to action. If you make something online, find a way to archive it. You know, even with what I do, I try very hard to archive all of it on YouTube. YouTube could just decide I'm shit out of luck and delete my channel tomorrow. So, even I have like a lot of work to do. But if you do anything creatively, whether you make these weird fan games or you make videos, you do streams, archive your shit. Get a big ass hard drive, and I know they're expensive right now. You're just gonna have to stick with it. But get yourself a big ass hard drive, archive what you've got. Don't let that shit go. Because you never know if you're ever gonna be able to find it again. God, this video turned out to be more depressing than I thought it'd be. But I guess that's fair. Um, Thank you all for watching Sonic.exe bullshit during its original run. Again, I wish I had been more kind to a lot of those games back then. I didn't really imagine it becoming as big as it did. And, you know, I realized fairly some way in that a lot of kids were watching and kids wanted me to play their games. I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, archive your shit. Don't let these websites decide one day that they can just wipe your slate clean. All right? Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'm sure I'll upload like a real playthrough video soon. You know, I've been feeling the urge, but I don't quite know what it's gonna be yet. It'd be really funny if I uploaded that like tomorrow. I'm recording this at night on the 13th. It'd be really funny if I uploaded something on the 14th and then me saying this means nothing. Maybe that's what'll happen. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you around. I'll see you around. 10 years of super cool gaming. Does it count as an anniversary if I haven't uploaded for most of that time? I don't fucking know. But fuck it, we ball.